for straight grade niggas, straight hitters. And let us just
this.
let us make this go viral, y'all, because I'm on some real shit right now. Just thinking. If y'all want the murder rate to go fucking down, why y'all on this make a fucking state for straight grade niggas, straight hitters? And let us just go dumb, you hear me? And if the other ones kill outside of the state lines, the government get the like. If the ones won't bang you, won't bang for us.
Rumors have been circulating that NBA YoungBoy might have 4KT moving all night, looking for payback over NBA Ben 10, and things could escalate real fast. YoungBoy's brother even seemed to back that energy online. You heard every single word that came out of his mouth. This wasn't a track, not lyrics, not some polished sit-down where someone's carefully choosing words because a PR team told them to. This was YoungBoy's brother speaking raw, no filter, no script. Nobody in his ear telling him to ease up, just him, his phone, and the whole world watching. This was someone reacting in real time after seeing his brother's close friend lose his life inside a Houston restaurant. You could hear it in his voice, the emotion hitting all at once, saying exactly what was on his mind with zero holdback. And the internet didn't even know how to process it, because when you really break down what he said line by line, it wasn't just random talk. It went deeper than that. It sounded like someone trying to process pain and anger at the same time, struggling to stay composed. That kind of emotion hits different, and people listening could feel every second of it. Stick with me, because this entire situation from that night on April 8th in Houston, to that clip going viral, to where things stand now, goes way deeper than what's being shown. To really understand what he said on that live, you have to understand who NBA Ben 10 really is to that circle. Not what the media labels him as, but who he truly is in real life. A lot of blogs keep calling him just an affiliate, like he was some background figure around YoungBoy, like he was just part of someone else's story. That picture is completely off. Ben 10, whose real name is Ben Anthony Fields, a 6-year-old from Baton Rouge, wasn't just someone passing through. People close to the situation say he was family, a close cousin, someone who was there before any fame showed up, before cameras, before streaming numbers, before sold-out shows and major moments. He was there in the early days when YoungBoy was still building his name and figuring things out. He appeared in content, showed up in videos, and stayed consistent because he was part of real life, not someone added after success. He wasn't hired, wasn't playing a role. He was already there from day one. If you want proof of how deep that bond runs, look at what started resurfacing online after everything happened. An old message from YoungBoy about Ben 10 began circulating again, and now it hits way harder. He spoke about Ben 10's daughter and how he hadn't gotten the chance to see her. Hearing that now, with everything going on, it lands completely different. He said it was weighing on him, talked about how a father was out there living that fast life, and how he would step in and be there if anything ever went wrong. Read that again. That's not how you speak about someone you just do business with. That's not how you talk about a deal or someone tied to you for work. That's how you talk about family you feel responsible for, like it's your own. That's a deep level of loyalty, said in the simplest way possible. And then in 2025, reports came out that YoungBoy gave Ben 10 $250,000. Not for music, not for a project, not for any kind of deal, just a street gesture between people who see each other as family. That's the type of bond we're talking about when his name comes up. So when the news broke that Ben 10 was seriously hurt during an incident at a Houston venue, this wasn't just the industry reacting to someone on the sideline. This was a real loss hitting the core of YoungBoy's circle. Anyone who understood that connection immediately saw why the reaction from those close to him was so intense, so fast, and completely unfiltered. It wasn't for show, it was real emotion spilling out in real time. And here's something a lot of people are missing. Ben 10 wasn't just known for who he was connected to, he was building his own lane too. His Instagram, at MG10X, crossed 1 million followers, and he was pushing his slime design clothing brand heavy. He was also working behind the scenes, creating, directing, and putting together content. His track, Play With Me, started catching attention with a younger audience, showing his own style and voice. He was moving smart, doing what a lot of people in today's hip-hop world are figuring out, turning real-life authenticity into a brand without losing what made people connect in the first place. Social media, merchandise, music, content. He was building something solid from every angle. And he was doing all of this while being a father too, raising his 2 sons, staying present, and showing them what it looks like to build something from the ground up. He would post about them often, making it clear everything he was doing had a bigger purpose. This was a man focused on creating something his kids could one day benefit from. That's who was inside Confessions Restaurant and Lounge on April 8th. Not just someone connected to a bigger name, but a creator, a businessman, a father, a cousin, someone deeply rooted in a major rap circle with a future that was still moving fast. Now, let's get into what really went down that night, because what's been floating around only scratches the surface. April 8, 2026 late night in Houston, in the Upper Kirby area. If you know the city, you know Upper Kirby is one of those high-end, busy spots. Restaurants, lounges, money flowing, people stepping out to enjoy themselves. It's the kind of place where you expect a smooth night, not outside problems showing up. Confessions Restaurant and Lounge, a spot built by Houston entrepreneur Sterling Lewis into one of the city's most talked about dining locations. Big names pull up, the vibe is upscale, and the reputation matters. The caption on that post looked normal, nothing out of the ordinary. Nobody watching that story around 9 p.m. had any idea what was about to unfold just a couple hours later. But around 11:30 p.m., everything shifted fast. Houston Police Lieutenant R. Wilkins later explained what investigators were able to piece together using surveillance footage and witness accounts. According to that information, a suspect was already at the location and ended up in a confrontation with a few people. From what they could tell, it may have started with an attempted chain grab, someone trying to take jewelry. Wilkins also mentioned it didn't seem random. There were signs the suspect may have been watching him or even knew who he was. This looked more like a targeted situation than something that just happened by chance. The confrontation lasted somewhere between 30 seconds to a minute. During that time, the suspect was taken to the ground, and it looked like the chains may have come off. But then suddenly, everything escalated. The suspect pulled out a concealed weapon and started firing inside a crowded space. There were around 20 to 30 people inside, and panic broke out instantly. 2 individuals were seriously injured. One suffered multiple hits to the torso, while the other was hit in the arms and lower body. Both were rushed to nearby hospitals in critical condition. Ben 10 was among those hit the hardest in that moment. With that many people inside, he ended up taking the most severe impact from what happened. He was quickly taken out of the venue and rushed for emergency care, fighting to survive. But before any official updates could even come out, social media had already started pushing its own version of the story. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, the entire internet started moving fast, all in the wrong direction at once. Rumors were flying everywhere, and nobody was slowing down to check what was actually true. Then OG Monique, one of the most respected voices connected to the Never Broke Again circle, stepped in and posted something that cut straight through all the noise. Just one line. 10's alert. Stop the made-up stories. Short, clear, and straight to the point. No extra words needed. That post shifted everything instantly. It gave people something real to hold on to when everything else was just chaos. Fans needed that update, and so did the people close to the situation. It confirmed what everyone was hoping to hear. Ben 10 was still alive and conscious. But let's be real for a second. Being alert in a hospital bed after something that serious doesn't mean everything is okay. He had taken major injuries and was still in critical condition. That kind of situation doesn't just pass. It can change everything moving forward. And everyone around him understood how serious it really was. Then, while everything was still unfolding, while police were still gathering details and the family was still getting updates, B-Way went live and started speaking directly. If you go back and listen, every word matters. He said, "Make it go viral." He talked about needing spaces where issues don't spiral into bigger consequences that bring heavy attention. He also spoke on how things have changed, how situations today can quickly turn into serious legal trouble because of how systems are set up now compared to before. He also pointed out how that late-night accountability that used to guide street situations doesn't exist the same way anymore. Surveillance is everywhere now, and cases escalate fast with federal involvement. Then he said it straight up, "I love to bang. I'm back on that type of stuff." That line right there is what had everybody reacting. But let's really break it down, because a lot of people focused on the emotion without actually listening. B-Way wasn't just speaking off impulse. Everything he said connects to real changes in how things operate today. Situations that once stayed local can now turn into major legal cases. Laws and investigations have evolved, and things that might have gone unnoticed before now bring serious consequences. In today's world, even small conflicts can quickly turn into major cases with long-term outcomes that affect entire lives. What he was expressing is a frustration that a lot of people in similar environments understand, being caught between old ways of handling things and a system that reacts much more aggressively now. But when he said he's back on that shifted the entire conversation instantly. Because when someone is speaking from raw emotion, especially in a moment like that, it doesn't come out polished or calculated. It comes out real, unfiltered, and intense. That clip spread fast, over 122,000 views. In no time, comments going wild. People weren't just watching, they were analyzing it, replaying it, trying to figure out what it really meant. The biggest question everyone kept asking was simple: who was responsible for what happened? Houston PD was already on the scene, working with video footage, witness statements, and people willing to cooperate. Lieutenant R. Wilkins made it clear they believed they would identify the person involved, but at that moment, there was no public arrest confirmed and no official name released. Then, like always, the internet started doing its own thing. A name began circulating online. Reports from Hot New Hip Hop mentioned that All-Star Jr. was allegedly hinting at involvement in the situation. But here's the key detail: there were no official charges confirmed and no law enforcement statements backing it up at the time. Still, once a name gets tied to something this big, it spreads instantly, whether it's confirmed or not. Once people attach it to the story, it becomes part of the narrative. That's just how information moves now, faster than facts can even catch up. What we do know is this Houston PD had strong video evidence, multiple witnesses, and an active investigation in motion. The details they shared, like how everything unfolded and how specific individuals were affected, pointed to this not being random at all. People online started connecting dots, forming their own conclusions before anything official was announced. Meanwhile, everything was still developing in real time. No confirmed suspect publicly named, a victim seriously injured, and a whole circle dealing with the emotional weight of it all. Here's what a lot of people aren't really thinking about. NBA YoungBoy didn't say anything publicly. No post, no story, no official statement, just silence. And some people are trying to take that as him being distant or not caring about what happened to his cousin. But that's not the full picture. If you really look at what he's been through over the past few years, that silence starts to make a lot more sense. This is someone who spent a long time dealing with serious legal situations, and even after receiving a pardon in 2025, he's had to move very carefully with everything he does in public. He knows better than most that anything he says can be dissected, analyzed, and used in ways that go far beyond social media. Every word can carry weight in ways people on the outside don't always understand. And let's not forget, he already showed where he stood with Ben 10 long before this moment, that $250,000 gift. The things he said about supporting his family that already made the relationship clear. So the real question isn't whether he cares. It's what someone in his position can safely say out loud when something like this happens. And the truth is, sometimes the answer is not much at all. That's where B-Way stepping up starts to make more sense. It's not random. It's how people close to each other move in situations like this. When one person has to stay quiet, someone else speaks with that raw emotion. Now, here's where everything stands right now, and it's still unfolding in real time. The investigation is active, no confirmed suspect publicly named, and people are still waiting on official answers while the internet keeps moving at full speed. Ben 10 is alive, confirmed alert, but still recovering from serious injuries. And that part matters more than anything else, because while social media keeps chasing updates and rumors, the real focus for his family and close circle is his recovery and what comes next for him physically and mentally. At the same time, the online conversation hasn't slowed down at all. People are still debating, still pointing fingers, still trying to piece everything together without having the full facts. And that creates a dangerous mix of pressure, misinformation, and emotions running high all at once. What makes this situation hit even harder is everything connected to it. The loyalty, the history, the rise, and how fast things can change in a single moment. One night turned into something that shifted everything for an entire group of people. And while some are speaking loudly, others are staying quiet and moving carefully. That contrast says a lot about the position different people are in right now. The biggest thing to watch moving forward is how this plays out on all sides, legally, personally, and publicly. Because once official updates start dropping, it could completely reshape how people are viewing this situation. Let's zoom out for a second, because this situation, the incident, the live stream, the silence from YoungBoy, and the internet going wild is bigger than just one crew and one night in Houston. This really shows where hip-hop stands in 2026, right at the intersection of real-life struggles, content creation, law enforcement, and social media, all colliding at once. Everything is connected now, and situations like this prove it. Ben 10 wasn't just around fame. He was building his own lane step by step. Music, merch, social media, videography. He was putting in real work to build something solid. Over 1 million followers, his own clothing brand, consistent content. He was creating his own spotlight. And still, despite all that progress, a situation like this found him on what was supposed to be a normal night at an upscale spot. That's the harsh reality a lot of people don't fully understand. You can level up, build something positive, and try to move different, but your past, your connections, and your environment don't always just disappear. It's not just about where you are physically, it's about everything tied to your story. That's the tension a lot of people are living with right now. In this situation, put it on full display. That live moment captured that frustration in the rawest way. Not polished, not calculated, just pure emotion coming out in real time. That's what made people stop and really pay attention, and the reactions have been just as intense. Some people were concerned, hoping things don't escalate further, while others started warning artists to stay careful, saying this summer could turn serious if things don't cool down. That reaction reflects something real too, because when tension rises this high in one circle, it doesn't just stay there, it spreads. The energy shifts for everyone connected, even indirectly. Artists in similar spaces, in the same cities, they all feel it when something like this happens. Hip-hop has always processed pain through expression, through music, through moments exactly like this, where someone goes live and speaks without filtering anything. That's been part of the culture from the beginning, and it deserves to be understood, not twisted into something it's not. So here's where everything stands right now. NBA Ben 10, 26 years old, close cousin to one of the biggest rappers in the world, a father of two, a creator, and a businessman, is currently recovering in the hospital after being seriously injured during an incident at a Houston restaurant on April 8, 2026. As of now, no individual has been publicly identified or officially charged by law enforcement. The investigation is still ongoing, and answers are still developing. NBA YoungBoy himself has remained completely silent publicly. Meanwhile, his brother B-Way went live and said, "I love to bang. I'm back on that type of stuff." And that moment alone has the entire internet watching closely. Everyone is locked in, fans, media, and authorities, all waiting to see how this situation unfolds next. But through all the noise, one thing stands above everything else. Ben 10 made it through that night. He was confirmed, alert, and conscious, and that matters more than anything right now. No matter what comes next, no matter what details come out later, the fact that he's still here is what people are holding on to. But at the same time, the questions around this situation are far from answered. If anything, they're only just beginning. Now, here's the part. A lot of people are still trying to figure out what happens next, because this isn't one of those situations that just fades after a few headlines. There are too many layers, too many people involved, and too much attention on it right now. First, there's the legal side still developing in the background. Investigators are working with footage, witness accounts, and everything collected from that night. At some point, more official information will come out, and when it does, it could shift the entire conversation instantly. Then there's the personal side, which honestly matters just as much. Recovery isn't just physical, it's mental too. Situations like this leave a lasting impact, not just on the person directly involved, but on everyone close to them. Family, friends, the whole circle feels it. And let's not ignore the music side either. Moments like this have a way of showing up later in songs, in lyrics, in how artists express themselves. That emotion doesn't just disappear, it gets turned into something people can hear and connect with. At the same time, the spotlight isn't going anywhere. Every move, every post, every silence is being watched and analyzed. People are paying attention to who speaks, who stays quiet, and what gets said next. That's why this moment feels bigger than just one incident. It's about what comes after, how people respond, how things evolve, and what direction everything takes from here. Right now, the person responsible hasn't been publicly identified. The investigation is still ongoing, and emotions in that circle are still intense, real, and running high. This summer could reveal a lot as more details come out and situations continue to unfold. All that really needs to be said is this: Everyone involved needs to move smart, stay aware, and protect themselves. Because at the end of the day, this goes way deeper than headlines. Ben 10's sons need their father, his family needs him, and the people close to him need each other standing strong. Moments driven by emotion can lead to decisions that change everything, and there's no coming back from that. Staying here, staying focused, and making it through another day that's real strength, no question. If you really listened to that live clip and broke it down piece by piece, what did you take from it? What stood out to you the most when you heard those words? And looking ahead, what do you think this summer is going to look like for the NBA circle with everything going on right now? Drop your thoughts below, because this situation is still developing, and people are watching closely for every new update. The moment something real comes out, it's going to shift the conversation again. Stay alert and move smart.